Hey guys, so are we all ready for chapter 11 of The Witches? So, the Ancient Ones. The Grand High Witch stood on the very centre of the platform, and those dangerous eyes of hers travelled slowly around the audience of witches who were sitting so meekly before her. "All those over 70, put up your hands!" she barked suddenly. 7 or 8 hands went up in the air. "It comes to me," said the Grand High Witch, "that you ancient ones will not be able to climb high trees in search of gruntl's eggs." "We won't, your grandness. We are afraid we won't," chanted the Ancient Ones. "Nor will you be able to catch the cruncher who lives high up on the rocky cliffs," the Grand High Witch went on. "I can't exactly see you sprinting after the speedy cat springer either, or diving into deep waters to spear the blubber snitch, or striding the bleak moors with a gun under your arm to shoot the gravel's rat. You're too old and feeble for these things." "We are," chanted the Ancient Ones. "We are. "You ancient ones have served me well over many years," said the Grand High Witch, "and I not wish to deny you the pleasure of pumping off a few thousand children each just because you have become old and feeble. I have therefore prepared personally with my own hands a limited quantity of delayed action mouth maker, which I will distribute to the ancient ones before you leave the hotel." Oh, thank you, cried the old witches. "You are far too good to us, your grandness. You are so kind and thoughtful."
"Here is a sample of what I am giving you,"
shouted the Grand High Witch. She fished around in a pocket of her dress and brought out a very small bottle. She held it up and shouted,
"In this bottle is 500 doses of mouse maker. It is enough to turn 500 children into mice."
I could see that the bottle was made of a dark blue glass and that it was very small, about the same size as the ones you can buy at the chemist with nose drops in them.
"Each of your ancient fans will get 2 of these bottles,"
she shouted. Thank you, O most generous and thoughtful one," chorused the Ancient Witches. "Not one drop will be wasted. Each of us will promise to squish and squallop and squiggle 1,000 children."
"Our meeting is over,"
announced the Grand High Witch.
"Here's the timetable for the remainder of your stay in this hotel. Right now, we must all go out onto the Sunshine Terrace and have tea with that ridiculous manager. Next, at 6 o'clock tonight, those witches who are too old to climb trees after gruntle eggs will report to my room to receive 2 bottles each of mouth maker. My room number is 454. Do not forget it. Then at 8 o'clock, all of you will assemble in the dining room for supper. We are the lovely ladies of the RSPCC, and they are setting up 2 long tables specifically for us. But do not forget to put the cotton plugs up your noses. The dining room will be full of filthy little children, and without the nose plugs, the stink will be unbearable. Apart from that, remember to behave normally at all times. Is everything clear? Any questions?"
"I have one question," your grandness said, a voice in the audience. "What happens if one of the chocolates we are giving away in our shops gets eaten by a grown-up?"
"That's just too bad for the grown-up," said the Grand High Witch. "This meeting is over," she shouted. "Out you go!"
The witches stood up and began gathering their things together. I was watching them through the crack and hoping to heaven they would hurry up and leave so that I might be safe at last.
"Wait!"
shrieked one of the witches in the back row.
"Hold everything!"
Her shrieking voice echoed echoed through the ballroom like a trumpet. All the witches suddenly stopped and turned and looked toward the speaker. She was one of the taller witches, and I could see her standing there with her head tilted back and her nose in the air, and she was sucking in great long breaths of air through those curvy pink sea-shelly nostrils of hers.
Wait!
She shouted again.
What is it?
The others cried out.
Dog's droppings!
She yelled.
Just then I got a whiff of dog's droppings.
Surely not, the others shouted. There couldn't be.
Yes!
Shouted the first witch.
There it is again! It's not strong, but it's there. I mean, it's here. It's definitely somewhere not too far away. What's going on down there?
Shouted the Grand High Witch, glaring down from the platform.
Mildred's just got a whiff of dog's droppings, your grandness.
Someone called back to her.
What rubbish is this?
Shouted the Grand High Witch.
She has dog's droppings on the brain. There are no children in this room.
Hang on, cried the witch called Mildred.
Hang on, everybody. Don't move. I'm getting it again.
Her huge curvy nose holes were waving in and out like a pair of fishtails.
It's getting stronger. It's hitting me harder now. Can't the rest of you smell it?
All the noses of all the witches in that room went up in the air, and all the nostrils began to suck and sniff.
She's right,
cried another voice.
She's absolutely right. Dog's droppings. It is strong and foul.
In a matter of seconds, the entire assembly of witches had taken up the dreaded cry of
dog's droppings! Dog's droppings! They shouted. The room is full of it. Pooh! Pooh! Why did we not smell it before? It stinks like a sewer. Some little swine must be hiding, not so very far away from here. Find it! Screamed the Grand High Witch. Drag it down! Rootle it out! Follow your noses till you get it!
The hairs on my head were standing up like the bristles of a nail brush, and a cold sweat was breaking out all over me.
Rootle it out! This small lump of dung!
Screeched the Grand High Witch.
Don't let it escape! If it is in here, it has observed the most secret things. It must be exterminated immediately.
Oh dear, looks like he could be in a little bit of trouble, doesn't it? Well, I'll record the next chapter next weekend, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Tally ho!